these processes in general, how they're transmitted from one animal to another, or from humans to animals and vice versa, okay? So we're gonna get off the beaten track a little bit, so don't think I'm going crazy when I talk about some of the things I talk about, but we'll pull you back in. I hope you can see what I'm attempting to do this morning. Many of the diseases we're going to talk about are zoonotic diseases. As you know, a lot of times what they call immersion diseases and zoonotic diseases usually can be contracted from food and companion animals. They're contracted from food and companion animals. And exactly how did this occur? I want to talk about it a little bit this morning, okay? Under many circumstances, anybody here have grew up on a farm? Okay. On your farm, where were your animals kept? Outside, in a pasture, in a separate facility, right? Well, okay, that's not true in the past in any place in the world. They're still raised, some of them in the same housing unit with people, right? Now, how many people have dogs and cats that live inside? Okay, those animals, they can transmit diseases to humans, or humans can transmit diseases to them too. So, the veterinary role in all this is to prevent these diseases, detect and control emerging diseases. And emerging diseases are those diseases that haven't been a problem, or were a problem in the past, but not a problem now. And now they're re-emerging as a disease in humans and or animals, okay? Now, I want to briefly review this again, because this is one that we can talk about. Yes? Okay, I want to talk about this one because we talked about this before. When I want to use this example, so we can talk about the pathogens and a lot of diseases. First of all, plague is caused by Yersinia pestis. And as we mentioned last time, it initially spread from China and India, or the Far East, to Europe via merchants and cargo ships and the spice routes, okay? The reservoir for disease is what? Rodents, primarily what? Rats and mice. And they're transmitted via what? Fleas. Fleas become infected, they bite humans, and they develop the bubonic plague, right? Can be spread by what? The pneumonic form is spread by what? Aerosol, okay? And then there was also a generalized form, right? We also said that 1/3 of everybody in Europe died as a result of this disease. Cats and their owners were called what? Witches, were killed. And as a result of this, the feudal system sort of failed, but it's still around. Anybody know what a feudal system is? Anybody? Yeah, we're going to talk about it, okay? Does anyone need more time? Okay? To understand the medieval period, and the medieval period was when it was from about the 5th century to the Renaissance. So from the 5th century to about the 14th century, not 15th century. It was sort of the Dark Ages, but anyway. They want to point out that if you look at this pyramid, who's at the top? The king. Of course, there's a queen there too, but she's not in this picture. There's a king. And then what the king did was that everybody that's from down, the king basically owned everything, okay? So everything the king gave, one just below the king, what we call lords or barons. Lords or barons. And what the king gave lord and baron, he gave them land. Lots of land. Okay? In exchange for that, the barons or lords gave him military, people for the military, they had wars. Okay? And also gave him support. Okay? Now, in most of the time, when they gave these lords and barons lands, they gave them lots of land, like 20 square miles. Gave them lots of land. And they basically ruled, all the rules for civilization were carried out by that lord or baron in that place of land. Okay? Now, of course, and then he gave some of his lands to, what are these guys in Shenandoah? Knights. Okay? And what the knights did again, military service, basically policemen for the barons in his land. That's what he did. And they also gave them support. And then the knights, of course, gave food and shelter to who? The peasants. The peasant was where? On the bottom. Okay? So, based on what they did, they let the peasant work a little land, then they charged them for rent, and they charged them for shelter. Okay? For that, they offered them protection against war. But then during war, they would get these same peasants to do what? To go off and fight. That's the way the system worked. Okay? If you look at Europe, during the Middle Ages, much of this hierarchy failed. It didn't work anymore. But it still was employed in what part of Europe? What country? What country still had a king and queen in England? Okay, England. They still have a king, right? Well, right now it's the what? Queen. But they also have two houses. You got a House of Lords and a House of Commons. Who's in the House of Lords? The people who were barons and lords. And they get these positions by what? By heredity. They're like barons and lords, and then there's the House of Commons. Couple things. So that's the king, the barons, the knights and lords. Receive lands from barons. They allow peasants to work for them. Okay? Peasants, what do? They work small plots of land, barely enough to survive. You ever look at these old movies? Peasants are never what? They're never rich people, right? Yes? And the sort of people what I said to the king, they allocated land to the barons and bishops and lords. And for their service, they provided soldiers in war for the king. Okay? So kings are always going to what? War. and they swore loyalty to the king. The same thing, the barons and bishops and lords divided land for knights, and they became their vassals and so forth and so forth. So just remember that at the top of the heap you had the king, in the middle the barons, the bishops and lords, and then there were the knights, and then the last one what? Peasants. The last of so-called royalty was what? The knights. Okay? Okay, does anyone need more time? Okay. Okay, anybody still need more time? Anybody? Okay. Anybody know who this guy is? Who is this man here? The only thing I want you to know here is that peasants were the one that worked small plots of land, and they had barely enough to survive. This feudal system was present throughout Europe. As a result of the plague, most of these systems failed. You don't have a king in France anymore, Spain, Italy. All of these systems basically failed as a result of the plague. The only one that really didn't fall in was the United Kingdom. And that's because, remember we said that the mortality rate in England was only about what, 20%? But the rest of it is about 50%. So it never failed in England, okay? You know, it's okay? That's the point I want to make there. That's why you don't see it in much of Europe, but you still see it in England, okay? Who is this guy? King. What's this king who? Henry VIII, right? He's the one that did what? Started what? Church of England, right? He had how many wives? 8 wives, right? That's why they call him Henry the what? Henry VIII, I am. Okay? He was top of the heap, okay? He got a wife, he didn't like her, and want divorced, so what did he do? He killed a lot of them. Some of them survived, but, yep. Don't mess with the king, okay? And this is a baron or lord. Apparently he's going to supply warriors. I don't think he's going to war, do you? Just like this. But that was the baron or lord. The one just below the, what, king. And this was what? Your knight and what? Shining armor, okay? And this was your knight shining armor. work on the Port Pleasant Ward. This is called a hood with a Larry patch. This little thing here, that's the hood. This thing here is called a what? Tunic. Okay? Now, see where the tunic comes down to work? To the knees, looks like a what? Looks like a dress, doesn't it? Okay? And then they had this thing on the head of coffee, a gown for women, and what? Hoses. They wore a lot of hoses, right? Because they didn't have what? They got dresses on, men and women. So that was the popular wear. One thing that's funny is that this tunic in the 14th and 15th century, it became popular that royalty, only royalty could do this, they have their tunic up below, above the waist, as far as the men is concerned, so they show off their buns. Okay? Peasants couldn't do that. You had to be royalty to show your buns off. So that's what they would do. They would have it up here, and they would show their buns. Okay? But you had to be royalty to do that. These are, you see, this is the houses. They were made of, what kind of roof is that? Thatch, right? Okay? And sometimes they used to have dogs and cats that lived up there. And if you've ever been to England, you know it does what a lot. It rains a lot. And so sometimes when it would rain so hard, the dogs and cats would fall through the roof. And that's why they come up with the phrase, it's raining what? Cats and dogs. That's where it comes from. It's raining cats and dogs. Unlike the song a few years ago, it's raining men, but this is raining cats and dogs. And this is where the peasants lived in. Something like this hut. Okay? Now, and this is how a lot of diseases can spread very fast in something like this hut. Because if you look on the inside of the hut, what they had, this is what a hut typically looked like. You can see here, there's a thatched roof. This is what, fireplace? They even got layered stone walls. See them here? All around here. What type of bed is this? Straw bed and mattress. There's a closet. You probably have about 4 tunics, right? That's about what they had in this closet. But you also have what in here? Cow, what? Sheep, chickens. They all lived in the same place. Okay? So, which is a recipe for disease, for disaster, right? For the spread of disease between animals and man. This is not uncommon. Many places in the world today, people still live in one part of the house and animals live in what? In another part. Even if you look at it here, a lot of people have dogs and cats in the house, right? Doesn't look like this, but they're not defecating on the floor, no water trough for them and all that, but it's similar. And this is what it looked like in real life. What is that floor made out of?
Sawdust. I can borrow you like that.
That's close to sawdust. It's a straw and what? Dirt floor. Dirt floor. It's like a nightclub you have in Tuskegee when I came here. And a dirt floor. You go out and start dancing, dust be flying everywhere. Now some little 9-year-old boy out with a bucket of water throwing water down to decrease the dust. So you see the brick walls here, but there are what? They're dirt floors, okay? That's not uncommon. When the Pilgrims came to the U.S. and looked at those original houses, only 1 or 2 of them had wooden floors. So you can imagine how cold this would be. Can you disinfect this? No, I'm not disinfecting that. Okay, this is just how to get rid of the burning death clothes or the Black Death, okay? Okay, so the thing I want to point out most of all though, if you look at a condition like this, with dirt floor, animals in the same facility, if you look at particular influenza, as you know, if you get influenza from two different types, they can get in, especially in the chickens and ducks, and it can form a more pathogenic strand. Therefore, when we get influenza, where do most of them come from? Where do they start? Where? When you get a worldwide pandemic of influenza, where do most of them begin? By what part of the world? Yeah, Asia. They're in the Far East. And part of that because is that one thing when they have live chicken markets, they have live markets where they may have cats, chickens of all kinds. And they got influenza, they got ducks, all of them come together, and these viruses will form a new virus that can be highly pathogenic in humans. And from there, you spread around the world. The last outbreak we had like that was what? Swine flu. But that didn't come from the Far East. Where it came from? They came from Mexico. Okay? The same thing. When you got people living in close proximity to the animals, they can be transmitted from animals to humans and vice versa. The same thing is when we looked at the plague. You got those horses